Hello and welcome to Tech Talk. This is our season finale, season 3, episode 10. And today we are going to talk about what probably you've already seen, the new CK series stage keyboard. But before we get into that, I want to introduce my colleagues, my friends from all over the world. So starting out, Hans-Peter Hinkel. Hello, Hape.
Hello, Blake. How are you?
I am good. I'm good now that I figured out that our time changed in the United States, but it hasn't changed everywhere else. So if you thought it was an hour, it's 2 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock our time. Anyway,
it will change pretty soon in Germany also.
Yeah, it's confusing sometimes, but anyway. Thank you so much, Hape, for being here. Also from France, Joel Borg. Hello, Mr. Borg.
Hello, Mr. Blake.
I guess it would be Monsieur Borg or what?
Monsieur.
Okay, I'm going to say that, and or your website is
Monsieur.
Moisture. That's okay.
Moisture.
Good to see you. Really good to see you. Let's see who else is here. Well, we have from Italy, Mr. Manuela Montesanti.
Hey, hi Blake. Hi guys. Good to see you. How are
Hey,
you?
good to see you too. Awesome. And from Spain, Alvaro Gandul.
Hello, everyone. Good to see
Hey.
you too.
Hello.
How are
Truly,
you?
it's like the United Nations up here at the Yamaha site. And our special guest we are going to have later on in our program, the creator of all of those great Milas tools for montage, for motif, for YC, for CP. Well, he has something to show you today from Greece, which I love because I'm also Greek. John Milas. Hello, John.
Hello, Blake. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming here. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we are going to talk about the CK series. So first of all, I want to alert you all to one thing that I have. It is up here on YamahaSynth.com. I have the website back here in the background. I did put an article together on this in the Learn section, the Blake's Take CK series. It's a pretty big article, so if you wanted to follow along and see all the stuff about CK that you're not seeing here, or to augment what you have, there's a giant article I wrote that has lots of videos and things like that. Just want to let everyone know that it is there. So, there you have it. I'm going to start here with my my introduction to this cool product. So, CK, what is CK? Oh, wait a minute. I just realized that I made a mistake because Alvaro is going to, or rather Manuel is going to play first. Sorry, that's my bad. So, without any further ado, check out Manuela Montesanti. He's next. Sorry.
Thank you.
I messed up.
That's not a problem. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
That's great. Okay, I have some
you.
questions for you.
Yeah.
So you played with an audio track?
I have used the CK like an audio card, as usual, you know.
So you're using the USB audio?
I've used the USB audio. Yes.
Okay. It just and you know it's one of like 3 different ways that you can bring in backing tracks, and Joel's going to talk about this later on as well. But so you use one of them, which is the USB audio
Yes,
and
of
MIDI
course.
interface that's integrated in this product. It's pretty cool. But there's even more than that. But I just wanted to find out exactly which one you did there. That was amazing, by the way. And I got to say, the thing that I think is really cool about what you just did is there's so many different sounds that you can get from this instrument. I mean, I heard some synth sounds, some pad sounds, the piano, the organ stuff, all the effects.
Yes,
That's,
of course.
you know, and then the real-time control using the filter and just being able to reach up and turn it on and grab it, and it's
The
right
user
there.
interface is amazing.
It really is great. And then I have one more thing, because you have the same model I have. You have the
61.
the CK61.
Yes.
And I had a choice which one I could have here, and the reason why I wanted this one is because I have a lot of 88 note weighted keyboards because of my job. So they're all over the place, and I just wanted something small. And what I really love the FSB action. This is kind of a new one for me. What do you think of that?
Yeah. So basically, I haven't. I had the flu, you know. I told you, and I have used because for come back to the topic about the audio card, because I have used this instrument like an audio card. Totally and completely, and I have tried to. I have programmed my drum tracks, my bass line, and I have used the speaker, the internal speaker of the CK. You can imagine me with my laptop and the CK, and yes, I did it thanks to all this little production, thanks to this amazing feature.
I totally see. So you were sick, and
Yeah.
this makes it easier
Yeah,
to do the things you needed to do for this.
you can
That's
imagine
awesome,
me.
yeah. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. You certainly played great. So,
Thank you very
as
much.
expected. Awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Blake.
Yeah, so good. Thank you so much. So, now I'm back understanding what we're doing today. That was Manuela. That was amazing. Very cool. So, moving right along. So, what is the CK? CK is a stage keyboard. That's the first thing. We have 2 models, the 61 note and the 88 note. The 61 has this FSB action. This is a similar action that we have on products like the SX700 and the 900. Those are Arranger style keyboards, but I think it's the first time we've had it in our area, the synth and stage piano area. I really love the 61, the FSB action. It's very light. It just feels a little bit more substantial to play. I've really been loving it. It's literally sitting right in front of my computer all the time, not just today. So the other one is the 88 note CK88. That has 88 graded hammer action. So it's heavier in the low end, lighter in the high end, like the hammer sizes on a grand piano. So there's a little bit more force, or it takes a little bit more to play in the low end. It just feels more like a piano. And that's a great action. It's in a lot of our products, but those are the 2 actions on. So we have the 61 for synthesis organists and the 88 for pianists. There are great sounds on this instrument. I got to say, there's sounds from the CP and the YC series that we brought into this instrument. Things like the CFX Concert Grand, things like the RD78 electric piano, stuff like that. We've brought those over. There's also all the sounds of the Reface YC in here too. And I'm going to change so you can see this, what I'm talking about here. So you have the Reface YC series built into this instrument. There's also a lot of other organs, especially pipe organs in this instrument, including all the sounds of the Reface YC. Lots of effects, and you can see them over here. There's effects for each part, and we'll get into that later. There's also some more what I call live set effects that affect the entire sound. So there's lots of effects in here. It has a 1-to-1 UI, meaning that you have these areas like filter, EG, that you can quickly grab and turn and change things. Very cool. MIDI master control. It has a 4-zone MIDI master control. It's the same exact MIDI master control features of the CP and the YC series built into this. It's really a versatile instrument. The any place, any time vibe of this product is really important. There's just lots of neat things about it. One thing is that it has built-in speakers and it can run on batteries. It has 8 AA batteries in the bottom of this instrument. There's little compartment under there. You can put rechargeables or alkaline batteries. I've been able to get about between 3 and 4 hours of battery time with this instrument, which is very cool. It's also an audio interface, as you heard from Manuela, that had, he used the USB audio and MIDI interface, and realized what he was talking about there is something that I've experienced, is connecting to a computer, opening up Cubase, being able to monitor a virtual instrument using the internal speakers. It is awesome in a hotel room. I gotta say, I don't have to bring a huge speaker system, and I don't always have to have my headphones on with this instrument. I can monitor and use its internal speakers. They're really nice. You have also some very cool things with regard to Bluetooth audio. You can send Bluetooth audio to this instrument, and a thing called audio trigger, which is another way that you can get audio into your sound. But that's kind of the basic overview of this instrument. It's in any place, any time. It's almost like a full-size reface, but it has so much more capability than the reface that you'll see in just a moment. So I will go real quickly on just this front panel overview. Tape is going to take you into a little bit more of this, but as you can see, some really cool things in the UI. There's live sets in here, 160 of them, similar to CP and YC. There's about 362 sounds, voices on board that I can assign to a part. So if I want to select a part in here and I want to search for different parts, I have my category search right here. So I select a part, select a category right here to find different sounds in here, and boom, you can just assign them to a part. Parts also have this cool color coding. You have up to 12 colors that you can choose for the parts. You can choose that inside the live set settings. So right now I can immediately see that when I turned on this B part, the filter, the EG, the drive is off here, but I can turn it on. Everything's a button push away that you really need to get to. You can turn it on and off. You have a depth control right here. Attack and release for the EG, cutoff frequency and resonance for the filter. And I can literally just turn it on and turn it off. You have 34 effects in here, in effect 1 and effect 2 per part. If I switch another part, notice it changed immediately. So now I see this kind of rose color is for part C here. And I didn't have the second effect on. Let's go back to part B. I do have the second effect on part B. Everything is really visual and easy to see. Now let's say I want to edit all parts simultaneously. I just press all 3 buttons at the same time. Now everything turns white, and now I can affect all the parts simultaneously with that setup, which is pretty cool. Fast. It's a very, very fast interface. Over here, and I'm going to just select a sound here. I'll go to organ, and immediately you see the organ shows up here, and the lights come on here. You have vibrato chorus. You have percussion, second and third percussion, on and off if I want to turn that on. Rotary speaker control here. As soon as I touch the speed, it'll engage this effect. Rotary A is right here. So I have that reface YC organ sound built into this instrument. Very, very cool. Again, live set is the name of the game right here. You have 8 live sets per bank. So if I go like this, I can change to different live set banks right here. Let's say I land on bank 4 here, which is you have, I think, 80 live sets that come with the instrument. All live sets are also user overridable, programmable, but you get 80 of them when you get the instrument. And then inside here, I have my page 4, and then live set 2 in page 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Go to the next page, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So that's how you find sounds, put sounds together, control sounds all within the live set. That is a major part of this instrument. Again, it is a one-to-one user interface, so it uses some of the things that we've already set up with things like YC and CP. It is just really fast, really great, really love this instrument. So that's basically an overview, real quick, of the front panel. By the way, both YCs, or rather both CK61 and 88, identical. The only difference is the size and the key bed. That's it. So, moving right along, I will turn it over to Hape, and he will show you a little bit more about parts and part editing. Take it away, Hape.
Yeah, thanks, Blake. That was a great overview, making my life a little bit easier. So, yeah, you already mentioned a lot of things about the live set. I maybe like to add that you can store almost everything into a live set, what is visible here, except the volume fader and except the transpose and the octave buttons here. These are global settings for the entire instrument. Of course, you can store a performance, a transpose value into the live set with a different parameter, but everything else, like the organ settings, like of course all the voice settings here, all our filter, EG controls, all the effects and everything is storable into the live set. Even the EQ can be used globally, so for the entire instrument, maybe to adapt it to an active speaker system, or can be also stored into a live set. And now, for example, when we're taking a closer look at parts, Blake already mentioned we have 3 parts, and you can select a category for each part. Let's say I want to go for e-pianos here, and now I want to have a different one than the first one here. The way to choose voices inside the categories are as follows. You can you can use these arrow buttons up and down here to go through all the voices. You can turn this knob here. It brings up this list. Or you can even use the category button and press it one after another, and it brings you through all the voices inside one category. So now I have the DX Legend here, for example. And when I want to have a quick chorus here, I just turn on effect number 1. The first one is a chorus. I just so there we go, can do it really quick. So this is not a chorus. There we go for a chorus, and then I can just give it a bit of a slower rate. And then I can add another part to it, for example, to layer something. So part B now is active. I just activated it by using the on-off button. We have one on-off button per part, and we have the select parts ABC. Now I go for a pad, and I use the wheel to go back in the categories to the pad number 44. This is one of my favorite pads here. It's the analog pad. And let's say we want to use the filter here to bring in a little bit more high frequencies. Or less, a little bit of resonance. It's as quick, as easy as that. And for example, let's solo just the pad for a moment using the cutoff and the envelope in addition. I can turn it basically into a kind of synthesizer string sound. So I give it a little bit more of cutoff, and then I give it a little bit of a tag, and slightly a bit of a release, more release, and that. Back with the it's like a synthesizer string. And the cool thing is, when I've selected the part, you can see the colors are changing. I can turn this on and off. When I turn them both off, I have my initial part, my initial pad. And I can turn it on again. And everything is there. So you don't even have to store. Of course, you can store everything into a live set, but you don't even have to. You can prepare some settings here and then can just activate during your performance, which is really cool. And yeah, so we have the part coloring. Blake already mentioned it, and this makes it really easy to see which effect is on and which effects you are working on, right? And yeah, so that's it for this example. And for example, when you want to initialize a live set, you can just press Enter and Settings. But before I show this, I just want to show you split real quick how you can make a split. So now currently everything is layered here. Both parts are layered. And when I want to have a split, I just can press the split button here once, and then I can press it sequentially to show all the options that we have. So a three-part layer, sorry. Then a layer split combination, another layer split combination, and a three-part split or a three-zone split. Now, in this case, I have the DX Legend on the left-hand side and the analog pad on the right-hand side. And the split point by default is G2. Here's the E piano, here's the pad. And let's turn off the cutoff here. And then when I want to change the split point, I just press split point. And then I can press a note, and this will be the first note for the right hand zone, like this. So I go back to press split point again, and then we have the pad here, and here's the E piano. For example, when I like to swap the parts, so I want to have the analog pad on the left-hand side and the DX Legend on the right-hand side, I can easily do it by a long press on both parts simultaneously. So I press them a little bit longer, and now you can see the parts swapped, and now I can have the analog pad like this on the left-hand side and can play my DX E piano on the right-hand side. Like this. Yeah, that's it for this example. And then I wanted to show, like previously mentioned, the initializing of a live set. I press enter, and in addition I press the settings button, and then it says initialized and init sound. And then for example, I go for organ. Blake already showed it. The first organ is one of the organs that are assigned to these organ sections. We have 5 models here, taken from the YC series, from the Rephase YC. And also I can use the organ category button to go through the models here. And then the pipe organ is the first one for the AWM2 engine. Going back to the H model here for this example. So since I initialized this live set, everything is dry right now, right? Totally dry. Let's say I want to add some drive. I have this first effect here, which is called drive. When I activate it, I can give it a little bit of value here and a depth. And then, right, so we have a drive. And this drive section here contains also a distortion, a rotary A and B, and a compression. But when this effect is turned off, so for an initialized live set, it's not active yet. There's a cool thing when I wanted to play organ. Of course, I want to use the rotary speaker, and there's a cool shortcut. I just have to press the speed button, and it automatically turns the effect on and assigns the rotary A effect to this, so that I have the rotary speaker like right. And even the second rotary speaker even has some distortion inside this effect, right? But let's say I want to have a clean rotary speaker, and I want to assign a different distortion to have more access to different parameters. I can turn the effect on, and then I can use the category button here again to go to distortion. Let's go for the small stereo here. Let's turn everything down here and then start from there, and I can give it a little bit of something like that, right? And that's it so far. And then when you like to, you can also use a second effect. And the cool thing is that the filter, the envelope, the drive, and both effects, effect 1 and effect 2, are available per part. So each of the part has an individual set of these filter, envelope, and these 3 effects, which is really powerful. And then we have the kind of what Blake called it live set effects. I call it the common effects. It's the same thing. So we have a delay as a common effect, as the first common effect here. And we have the reverb as a common effect. And then we have this equalizer. And as mentioned before, the equalizer can be set globally, but can also be stored into a live set to adapt it from live set to live set, right? So then I want to show you really briefly some settings, what you can do inside the settings. So I press the setting button once. And a really cool thing is to navigate through all the menus here. There's 3 ways also. I can use the arrow button again, and when I want to access something, I can just press enter, for example. But I can also go and use these live set buttons here. And this selects an entry and does the enter press simultaneously. So let's say I want to give it a name. I press just 5 and it accesses directly the name here. I can use exit to go back. And in this settings, we have some sound settings, for example. There are sound settings which are for each of the part individually. So when I press it for part A, I have, for example, mono, portamento, unison. These also have some dedicated buttons here on the UI. We have note shift. This is a note shift that you can store into the live set, of course. We have some modulation settings, some touch sensitivity, sorry. And yeah, going back to the common settings, there we have a transpose, and this is a transpose apart from this one. This one can be stored into the live set. Then we have the layer split again and live set EQ, and this is the one when you turn this on, the equalizer setting will be stored into this live set here. So let's go real quick back. Then we have some controller settings here where you can assign different parameters to the controller, like modulation wheel, like both foot pedals, receive switch, stuff like that. Then we have the functions. Functions is like where you can choose the part color. Let's go for part A and say we want to have it like some magenta, whatever it is. We have the audio trigger function. Joel will show this in a minute. We have the external keyboard settings for part A, B, and C, where you can hook up a second keyboard and can say, okay, this part shall just be played by an external keyboard. And we have the master keyboard settings for each of these zones, or with the 4 zones, sorry. Yeah, then we have some menu settings here also as well. In the menu, you can find all the general settings, like, for example, system, like master tune, master EQ, the speaker settings, auto power off, and stuff like that. Then we have all the MIDI settings here, like the MIDI port, MIDI channel, local control, and something like that. We have some audio controls here. Output gain is a really cool feature because the output gain enables you to raise or reduce the output gain minus or plus 24 dB, which is quite a lot. This is really great when you have just some speakers, some active speakers without a mixing console, so that you can adapt your instrument to the system. And then we have the AD input type. You can set it to microphone or line. You also have a small gain knob at the back of the instrument where you can adapt the gain for your instrument, USB audio volume, stuff like that. And then we have some control panel settings here where you can lock the control, you can turn on and off the display, something like that. It's too much to mention it all because we have lots to talk about. Then we have some keyboard settings here, the touch curve, for example, normal, soft, hard, and white. And yeah, one thing I would like to mention is the AD input. At my last point, let's say it like this. So under the settings, we also find the settings for the AD input. But there's also a cool shortcut, a knob here, which is called input. And when you press this, you're directly taken to the AD input. And the AD input on this instrument is really powerful because you can set a volume, of course, and you have 2 insert effects, these effect 1 and 2. These are basically the same effect range, the same variety of effects as for the effect 1 and 2 for the parts here. And then we have an input EQ, equalizer, which is great when you hook up, for example, a microphone or an acoustic guitar or whatever without a mixing console. You can set it directly. You can adapt your microphone, whatever, to this AD input. And we even have a noise gate, which enables you to kind of duck all the background noises from the audience or whatever. So when you that it's just active when you're singing or stuff like that, right? Yeah, that was a really quick overview of all the settings, part, menu, and stuff like that. And then I would say thank you. And the next part is the great Alvaro. So give a warm welcome to Alvaro.
Hello. Hello, happy. Thank you. Great tools, and thank you for the explain. great tools in CK series. Let's hear. I'm going to use the Bluetooth connection, and I stop. I hope you like. Bye, I'm sorry, the view. I changed the view. Thank you. Let me introduce my friend from France, Joël Borg.
Yeah, thank you, Alvaro. What amazing playing you have done also with man. We are lucky to have you also as a Yamaha artist to play. So let's come to me and let's talk about audio. And about audio, we are going to talk about speakers. To start, we have talked to you that you can take your C key, you have some speakers, you can go in the garden, an example, and play with the birds and the sun, I hope you have, or you can take on holidays as you want, and perhaps if you go on holidays, you do not want to take your X stand, so when you are on your vacation, perhaps you will put the CK on the table and if you see, I will show you a more largest view. You can say, where are the speakers? The speakers are back in bottom, and perhaps you think if I put it on the table, perhaps it will not sound good. And we will say to you, yes, it will sound good because we have a dedicated setting to do this. So like Ape explained, for general settings and speaker on general settings, we go to a menu, and we go to general, we go to system, and on system on the third line, like Ape show you, you can press the third here. You have the setting for the speaker, and the first one will be a speaker EQ, like this you see. And if I go to speaker EQ, it's not this one. It's the two settings you have when you want to play with your CK. If you let it normal, it means that you are playing, on, like as example, on a X stage, when you're on stage as example, and the speakers deliver normally the sounds. But if you are on the table, like I am here for shooting this video, here I am on the table, you can set the setting table like this, and you do not need to store anything when you say okay, enter. Here it's down, and when you power down your CK, you keep this setting on. And we can also have one of a setting. Perhaps you think if I want to connect some cables, perhaps I will have some cables, and I do not want to have the speakers. Okay, and how does it work? So you have two ways to done. If I go to my largest view, you will have here a button on the back. And I have the speaker off because I do not want that it comes to the mic, but perhaps you hear the click. So you have a simple click to do this, of course. And the other way you can do this is to go here on the second line, it's speaker mute. And if you press enter, you have two settings. The first one is manual. That's what I have already done in manual. I switch the button myself on the back. And you have the other setting, which is auto. Auto means that as soon as you put some cables on the output, the speakers are off. As soon as you remove the cables, the speakers are on. And an important thing about the cable is that they are unbalanced. So do not use balanced cables with the CK. And it's the same thing for the AD input. Use unbalanced cable for this. And if you want to go out these levers and you do not need to do exit, 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 you can press menu and you come back to the live set view directly. We see some of you in the chat asking, can we have some drums? I will come back to my view. Here it's right, it's a stage keyboard. So stage keyboard, there is no arpeggiator, there is no MIDI sequencer, there is no performance recorder. It's a stage keyboard, you have only sounds to play. But perhaps you want to play with some drums, perhaps you want to play with some backing tracks. And you can, because we have some cool things that you can do with this. We have a Bluetooth connection, like I have on my Stage Pass 1K as example I have in the room. You have the Bluetooth connection, and you can work with it and use to sing from your phone or your tablet some audio files. So let's go to menu, because this is always general settings. And this is the fourth line, and it's called Bluetooth. And the first thing you need to do is to switch on the Bluetooth. You can set off, but here we need to be on, of course. You can manage the Bluetooth volume as you want, of course. And when you are ready, you press here, pairing. And we will be ready. And I have one other view to show to you. This is my iPad here on live, and it will refresh for you for the first time, but for me, I have already done. And I have the CQ1, this is the 61 for me. And if I press here, it will synchronize. I know you say it's in French. Of course, it's yes, but this is something hardware. Here I can show you the screen, but I can have the Bluetooth working because the audio go out through the video output. So I will just disconnect this. Yes, I need to do this. Excuse me. Disconnect here. And I come back to my view here. And to show you, I will use my phone, because you can use and do it also with the phone. And with the phone, like I do not have the video output, it will work, of course. I know it's work. I do not show you on the phone because the white font will not be seen here. And I have one Yamaha application. It's called Chord Tracker, and you can find some chords or the song you want to play here. And I have something that everybody know, and it's play on Bluetooth without copyright, of course. This is a silent night, so work very fine on Bluetooth with your phone, with your tablet, to launch backing tracks or things you have inside, of course. Okay, so this is for the Bluetooth. Can we have another way? Because perhaps you think on stage, sometimes there is a lot of people, there is a lot of phone, and I am a little bit afraid to have the Bluetooth with some problems. Perhaps there is too much phone in the room. And can I have one other way? And yes, you have one other way to do this. You have the USB to device port. It's made also, you can connect a USB stick and you can save, load a live set as example. But not only that, you can play WAV file, always WAV file, because we want with Yamaha to have a great quality. So this is CD quality, WAV file, 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz for the WAV file quality. So this is the same as the CD. And you can store on each live set, that's why you are going to go to settings, one song for one live set. And you can manage also the volume for each song you will play in WAV file with your live set. So let's go to function here. This is the third line. And here we have something that we call the audio trigger. So I let you hear to you. This is the second line, audio trigger. And here we have five settings. Need to see. The first one is a mode switch. It needs to set to on, of course. And the second one is the file. So the file here, you can see this is my USB stick content connect to the USB to device port. And here, bottom the blank, you can see the TTL. You have the cross bottom. That means on the left, that means that I have choose this WAV file to play. So it's ready to play because I have saved it on my live set. I can manage the volume for this backing track. And for each, that means that you can have on your stick 160 WAV file ready to play if you want. So huge, it's very huge. And how to launch this? Let's go to KSign. And here I go to my largest view. And there is no button to launch the audio trigger. But you have two settings. Here, the lowest means that this note on the keyboard here will launch the backing track, or I can choose the highest here, this one. So for me, I choose the lowest. And even if you have 1, 2, or 3 parts already set, here it's play the part. Here, yes, but here it will only launch the the WAV file, and it launch it, and you have no sound on it, of course. And the last setting is the play mode. If you want to have a play and stop, this is the second setting. You can do one shot, and you can do play and pause. And I set play stop for me. And does it work? Yes, of course. This is my WAV file from my stick. So I stop it here. No. And this is for the audio trigger. And like we talk about USB, we are on USB to device. I just need to prepare something on the other screen for you because there's something great for you. And yes, I'm ready. Let's go to the USB to host port. The USB to host is MIDI, of course. You can play and record MIDI, but it is also audio. You have one stereo audio bus on it. That means that you can connect to a class-compliant tablet or your computer and your DAW. And here you have, of course, Cubase with me. And here this is the stereo in. Of course, I have set the CK to be the audio bus for intro, for output. And if I play, you see my audio level input here. So I can record my audio, I can record MIDI like this. You will see the sound double because I let the local control on here. So that's why you have this chorus sound type. You need to manage this. Do not forget to manage the local control when you want to record. And the nice other cool thing I want to show you is, can I play some VST sounds? Yes, of course, this is my patch up. And here I do not play because I do not set a rack. And no, I have my patch up. So I will not put too much VST instrument, but you can do this. You have if you have master mode on the CK, you have 4-zone, so you can play with some famous instrument on computer, on tablet, with separate MIDI channel as you want, split layer. As you want, you can really do lot of things like this, and of course you can play some backing tracks from the tablet through the USB to host or from your computer. And I want to finish with one other thing. I just need to switch to this view to change one thing on the other side. Okay. And to finish, after we talk about the USB to host and the audio bus, stereo audio bus on it, I want to show you one of the applications from Yamaha. Let's come back from my iPad view. I will not let it work because, of course, I'm not connected. You need to connect. This is Rec and Share. Rec and Share is well known by the drummers because it's available for electronic drums. And you can do some very, very great things with it. You can load your backing track inside. It's class compliant also, so it works on the iPad, of course. And you load your backing track, or the famous song you want to play with it. Rec and Share will analyze tempo, and after, when it analyzes tempo, you can reduce the tempo and play with your audio file with the tempo reduced. So you can learn your solo and learn how to play it more slowly and increase the speed, and after you will play it at the normal speed. So very, very great to practice and to learn how to play some, I would say, difficult part with Rec and Share. Rec and Share is not available for all synths. Not all keyboards can connect to Rec and Share, but the CK can connect with Rec and Share. You can use it and it's for free. But this is not the only thing. Rec and Share allow you to record audio and video too. So you can record if you want to do a demonstration and you want to put on YouTube as example. You can record it on Rec and Share, or if you have a teacher, you are a teacher and you want to show some example to your students, you can do also this with Rec and Share. So you record your part, and when you are ready, the third thing you can do with Rec and Share is, of course, when you start to record, you need to press the record, and after you go to your keyboards and you play, and when you finish, you need to press to stop. So you have, I would say, the blank time on the introduction and on the ending, and you can cut this introduction and ending on the video and publish directly a very, very great video in very good quality. And I think that's all for me. I think I talk a lot about audio and the great things that you can do with the CK. It's a very, very great keyboard. And now, let's go. We have talked a little bit about USB to host and MIDI. So let's go to the Greece to see my great friend from Greece, Mr. John Melas, because I think he has some great news for you when you are going to take your CK.
Thank you, Joel. How are you?
Fine.
Great presentation. I like this Rec and Share application. I didn't know it. It seems great. So let me start. Today I would like to show you the new CK tools that are going to be available very soon. So this is the CK editor. Let's start with view system settings. You see here all the settings that Blake and Hape have described. You can manipulate them here in this big screen. Here you can rename your live sets. You can also change the settings for every part. Here you have the tabs for all the parts, and you can select, for example, different voices. I have also added categories to voices, so you can search whatever you want. For example, this trick I use also in the montage series. You can type the category name and then search by name the voice that you want. For example, CFX channels here, or any other category. Also, you have the menu, grouped everything by category. Here you have filters, drive, the insert effects. Sorry, this is montage terminology. These are the effect 1 and 2 for parts. You see, there are indeed very many effects in this instrument. Effect 1, you have 2 effects for each part. And as Hape said, the other parts will have different effects. So this is very powerful indeed. And of course, if you select a drawbar instrument, then the drawbars are enabled. Also the vibrato and chorus extra effects for the drawbar sound. Here you can change quickly the color of the part. The EQ is for the live set, for the sound, but also, as we saw here in the system settings, the CK, this is amazing. It has also global EQ settings. And here are the zones, if you want to control external instruments. The controller settings, these are settings per live set. So if a user wants to have a specific setting for all his live sets, we'll see a solution later in the librarian. But for now, you can simply select for this specific live set the controller settings. And also you can change what each part receives. And as Joel said, here is the AD input settings with the effects. You have several effects, exactly the same effects as with the parts, and the audio trigger function with the mode and the enable button. So it's basically it. It's very easy to use. Of course, the instrument is also very easy to use, but I know some people like to do things with the mouse and the keyboard. So this is the editor. Of course, as with all my editors, you can save to files. So you can save this sound to your computer and recall it later. And as we will see later with the librarian, you can also import this file to the librarian. So that's it for the editor. I hope you like it. Sorry. I would like to also say about copy paste, right? Copy part A to part B. This is very handy. And of course, you can paste to a different live set. Also, as you remember from last year, copy paste for the drawbars. What else? Copy paste also for common. And you can see all the copy paste commands here. Common zones, part A, B, C. And paste exactly the same. So that's it for the editor. And now let's go to the librarian. So I have here a file with all the live sets. You see, they are grouped also here by 8 groups of 8, as in the instrument, on the instrument. And of course, as you know from my montage or motif librarians, you can grab some sounds and move them. So here now, I effectively swapped 2 pages, 2 groups of 8s. Of course, I can rename here also. And now, let's see this new feature that I plan to add also to the CP and YC series. this is the new feature, controllers. So I can edit the controllers of one sound. Okay, but I could do this with the editor. But the power, the power of this command is that I can select many live sets and controllers, and now they are blank. But if I select one setting, for example, drive depth, I would like to control the drive depth with the modulation wheel. Why not? So if I press OK, now these settings are available to all these live sets. And of course, I need to select them and transmit them to the instrument to have the new changes. So that's basically it. I hope you like the new CK tools. They will be available, I think, in a week. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. And back to you, Blake.
Here I come. There I am. Yes. Thank you, John. Your tools are so useful. I got to say, the librarian, being able to move things that quickly, it's awesome. Thank you so much. Really good stuff.
Thank you very much for your kind words.
Man.
Thank you.
So there you have it. That's the YC series. We've been answering questions in the chat. So if you have any questions, you can continue to ask up there for a little bit. Really appreciate all you guys being here today. Very awesome. Just want to end it up with some of the resources that we have here. YamahaSynth.com. I actually in the chat, I actually put the link to my article I showed you at the very beginning as well. There's an article on YamahaSynth.com that covers, pretty in depth everything that you saw here today and maybe a few more things. We also have Yamaha Synth. Got to go there. Idea Scale, Yamaha Synth Idea Scale is where you can put ideas that we will consider. And I've seen a few ideas up here in the chat. If you'd like to post those ideas and put them into a place where our developers look at them, go to the Yamaha Synth Idea Scale. All the links for these are in the description of the video here. Soundmondo is our free social sound sharing site. CK will be a part of that as well. It is not quite implemented just yet, but I think it's coming very, very soon. So you'll be able to share sounds and load up your own sounds as well. It's a very cool thing. All the sounds that I created for the videos that I have up on my article, other places as well where I've made some other videos, you'll find those sounds on Soundmondo as soon as it comes up for the CK, which is very, very soon. SoundCloud, the Yamaha Synth SoundCloud has lots and lots of different audio files up there of different products, including all the CK audio files I created for my article. There's also a podcast that we have interviewed lots of artists and developers and all sorts of things on our Behind the Synth podcast. That's all at Yamaha Synth SoundCloud. And then the music production guide, Hape. Is there a new one that's just dropped?
Of course, released today, synchronized with the CK series. We have an excerpt of the Essential Knowledge Guide in our current issue that I released this morning. Yeah.
I figured as much. So there you go. The music production guide. Amazing, really, really nice publication style type of guides. You can go to the music production guide site and have access to, I guess, now 12 years of guides going back through the Motif series. Really well done stuff with the music production guide. Again, all those links are in the description for the chat here. So I believe that brings us to the end of our Tech Talk. The next Tech Talk that we'll be doing will be the beginning of Season 1, or Episode 1 of Season 4, right? This is episode 10 of season 3. So we're kicking off our new season. I believe it's April 4. Does that seem right? Look for it at YamahaSynth.com. And that will also be a very special, episode of Tech Talk coming up. I believe it's April 4. Check YamahaSynth.com for more information. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming here today. Great playing from both of you guys, Alvaro and Manuela. Always great to see you.
Amazing.
Just really, really great. Really awesome. So anything else from anybody? Any thoughts? I'll make my
I would say
scene this way.
go check CK series in the store. Get it under your fingers.
Yep,
Exactly.
it should be. We're looking at. Somebody asked when it will be in stores. I think it's just a few weeks out, but it's very, very soon. It will be there. And yes, go check it out. It's really a cool, very easy to use synth. The one thing I would say, there's some people that are asking, does this replace the MX? No, it does not. MX is a different product. MX is a multi-timbral product. It doesn't have the one-to-one interface like this. MX doesn't have built-in speakers. Somebody also asked, well, how is it different from a Modi X? It's different than a Modi X. Modi X is a deeper synthesizer. What this has is the one-to-one interface, but it has some very unique mobile features that are so cool. The Bluetooth audio is awesome. I use it all the time to play backing tracks, to learn tunes. The Rec and Share app, man, anytime I mess with the Rec and Share app and you do things like you can take a stereo audio file and it'll separate the tracks out and you can mute like a vocal track. It does a really good job of doing some very cool things and allows you to slow the audio down. So if you have a song you want to learn, you can slow it down and learn the parts. And you can do all of that with, USB audio connectivity, with Bluetooth connectivity. That is what's unique about this product. It is a designed exactly what we say, any time, any place. That's what the CK is all about. And I write about some different customers that are out there. People that are street musicians will love this. I was thinking, if I were touring and I wanted to do a quick rehearsal with a vocalist, I can bring the vocalist into a hotel room, connect a microphone to this, use the speakers, and rehearse without having to set up a PA system. Things like that. What Manuela talked about he had to prepare stuff. And what did you do? We just laying down?
Exactly.
And using the built-in speakers to do that. I mean, that's what really is, that's what this is about. And it makes me, I'm excited about this keyboard because of that kind of stuff. To me, and here, this is like, whenever I go out to vacation with my nephew who plays guitar, acoustic guitar, I've tried to play along with something like a Reface, which is fine, but it doesn't have loud enough speakers. So that never worked. And this I could use around a campfire with built-in speakers and battery power, and it will be loud enough to play with other people. That kind of stuff, that's what you can do with this instrument. So just to be clear, because I saw a lot of the, like, what is this about? That's what it's about. It's about playing music any place, anytime, with a great sounding keyboard, with a great control interface. Super versatile keyboard. That's all that I have to say.
Exactly.
So that would be the end of our Tech Talk. Join us next time in April. Thank you so much, Alvaro, Joel. I'm going across the screen. Hape, Manuela, John Milas. Thank you so much for watching this and being with us today. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one, and we'll see you on the next Tech Talk.
Yeah,
Thanks.
see you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye.